Welcome to the first video of this series. In this series, I'm going to introduce some strategies for tackling individual question types on JLPT N1. If you haven't already, please do take a look at my 2 overview videos. 2 things to keep in mind when studying for the test. 1. When you take any standardized test, familiarizing yourself with the question types and understanding the instructions are crucial. 2. Time is really tight on the actual exam, so setting a time limit for each question type is important. According to the current plan, this video series is going to have 18 episodes each dedicated to one question type. Today, we will start with question type 1 of the language knowledge section.
問題1、何々の言葉の読み方として、最も良いものを、1、2、3、4から1つ選びなさい。
So, this question type tests you on kanji reading. Let's take a look at number 1. Which option is the correct reading of this word?
社会活動に参加することで、人脈を広げることができた。1、人脈、2、人脈、3、人脈、4、人脈。
Okay, I already gave you the correct answer. When tackling this question, the first thing to do is to ignore everything in the question that is not underlined. The context doesn't really help when we are just being asked for the pronunciation, so looking at just the underlined part for this question is fine. If we look at the options, they are pretty similar.
脈
is a pretty common kanji meaning pulse, and can appear in words like
文脈、脈拍、脈打つ。
If you know the kanji is pronounced with a small y,
や
we can quickly eliminate options 2 and 4, and take a look at the remaining 2. Now, both jin and ing are possible readings for the character for people. You really just have to memorize words as a whole instead of individual characters. The answer is number 1.
人脈。社会活動に参加することで、人脈を広げることができた。
I was able to expand my network by participating in social activities. Now, take a look at question number 2. Remember, only look at the underlined word. If you really need some context, look at the words surrounding it. For example, if we look at the noun that follows, we then know this underlined word is describing a person. Kunyumi readings are a little easier in the sense you can eliminate options more easily. You probably know number 4
偉い、
is used to describe an admirable person, and you probably know the correct answer is not number 3.
すごい。
We're left with 2 4 kana words. The correct answer is
賢い。鈴木さんは指摘がいつも的確で、本当に賢い人だと思う。
Mr. Suzuki is always spot on with his points, and I think he is a really smart guy. What about number 1?
鋭い。
When you say
鋭い人。
you're saying someone has good intuition. Okay, in question 3, we are given the options.
顕著、検証、顕著、現象。
A lot of times, question type 1 asks you to distinguish between she, chi, and ji, which is not fun at all. It is also common to test you on whether voicing or half-voicing marks should be present. Pay attention to minor sound differences like these when you study kanji. The correct answer is number 3.
顕著、文化の違いが食生活に顕著に現れている。
Cultural differences are evident in the diet. Question 4 is very similar.
多岐、多字、多義、多詞。
If you know the second kanji, you can probably eliminate options 2 and 4 as they are not possible readings. This kanji can actually be pronounced as in
キロ、
the crossroad, and as in Gifu,
岐阜。
a Japanese city. So again, learning words as a whole is important. The answer is number 1.
多岐、相談の内容は多岐にわたった。
The topics of the consultation were diverse. Question 5 is another kunyomi question. Let's see what we can eliminate. If you are able to eliminate
崩れて、
collapse,
かすれて、
get blurred and get crushed,
潰れて、
you will get to
廃れて、その風習は、今はもう廃れてしまった。
that custom is now obsolete. The last question for today. Now, both kanjis have multiple possible readings. We can say
相、相手、
or we can say
そう、相談、
we can say
場、場所、
or we can also say
需要、場内、
the correct combination is number 2.
相場。家賃の相場は地域によって違う。
Rent prices vary by region. Putting everything together. Question type 1 usually tests you on easily confused pronunciations. Intuition and ear training are not really going to work because the options are usually pretty similar. Instead, memorize words as a whole and pay attention to these features. Should voicing marks be present? For example,
わ、
versus
ば、
versus
ば、
is it a short vowel or a long vowel? For example,
袋、
versus
袋、
should a glottal stop be present? For example,
さっき、
versus
さっき。
finally, should the consonants be palatalized? In other words, should there be a small ya? For example,
脈、
ku versus.
膜、
A few more things to check. Are we looking at kanji with similar forms like
鳥、カラス、
are we looking at one kanji with multiple possible readings? For example,
人、人、
and
民。
And are we looking at sounds very similar, like
し、ち、じ、ぎ、き。
Cap? I recommend spending under 2 minutes for all 6 questions under question type 1. Cut some time by reading only the underlined word. Use elimination. For this task, I actually don't recommend flashcards that only ask you to recall. Instead, the spell mode, or write mode on Quizlet is more suitable. Also, study whole words. Familiarize yourself with past papers, and see what kind of kanji you are more likely to see. That's all for question 1. Let me know what you liked and didn't like about this video, and I can hopefully make changes in future videos.